I refused to eat Christmas ham that was left out overnight, and my in-laws flew home early. My father-in-law and his wife flew across the country to spend Christmas with us. It's a huge trip for them, like a full day of traveling, so this was supposed to be really special. For the past week, they'd been cooking amazing meals every single day, making desserts, and basically turning our kitchen into their personal restaurant. The only problem was, they never took no for an answer about anything. When I said I didn't want dessert for breakfast because I'm trying to lose weight, they kept pushing until I finally gave in just to stop the argument. It was getting exhausting having every little preference turn into a debate. Christmas Eve dinner was incredible. They made this huge glazed ham that probably cost like $80, along with all these traditional side dishes from their home country. We had this beautiful family meal, and I was feeling really grateful they'd put so much effort into everything. But then it was time to clean up, and that's where things went sideways. My father-in-law looks at our packed fridge and says the ham doesn't need to go in there because there's no space. He tells me they leave ham out overnight all the time back home, and since it's winter here, it should be fine sitting on the counter. I immediately said no way. That leftover ham has to be refrigerated. I started pulling out some older leftovers to make room in the fridge, but he kept insisting it was unnecessary and that I was being too paranoid about food safety. We went back and forth for a few minutes, and I thought I'd won the argument when everything got put away. The counters were clean, so I assumed the ham was safely in the fridge. I helped get the kids to bed and didn't think about it again. Christmas morning, I'm looking forward to making ham and eggs for breakfast. I open the fridge and start searching everywhere for that ham. It's nowhere to be found. That's when I check the oven and discover they'd stuck it in there overnight. Not just left out on the counter in cool air like they originally suggested, but actually inside the warm oven where it had been sitting for over 12 hours. I was so disappointed, but I didn't want to start Christmas morning with a fight, so I just made myself something else. Lunchtime comes around, and they're heating up the ham and serving it to everyone. They notice I'm not eating any and start asking questions. I calmly explained that the ham had been left out too long and I wasn't comfortable eating it. That's when things got heated. They demanded to know who says it's no good anymore. I said I do, and that meat can't sit unrefrigerated for 16 hours without growing dangerous bacteria. My father-in-law's wife jumps in and says she already ate some and feels fine. I told her that's her choice to make, but I'm not risking food poisoning. They got offended and said I was being rude and ungrateful after they'd spent so much money on that ham specifically for our family. The argument escalated when I pointed out that they never listen when we say no to anything. I reminded them that I'd clearly stated the ham needed to be refrigerated, but they ignored me and did whatever they wanted anyway. My father-in-law's wife called me disrespectful for saying it was her problem if she got sick. They complained to my wife that I was being unreasonable and ruining Christmas over a piece of ham. By that evening, they'd booked flights home for the next morning. They were supposed to stay another week, and we had more family flying in for New Year's Eve. Now that whole reunion is canceled because they're leaving early and telling everyone I'm impossible to deal with. All because I wouldn't eat spoiled ham.